Bro, don't think, just act. Like, you want to start that business, but then you're like, oh gosh, I don't know how to make this work. I don't know how to do this. This sounds really hard. I'm not feeling like it. Don't think, just act. Just put one foot in front of the other. Just take the next step. Just do the next thing. I was going to record a video earlier, but then I was just like, oh man, I'm not really feeling like it. You know, somebody told me that I need to focus on something else and then my business. You know, there's other areas of life I need to work in. Bro, stop listening to yourself. When you get the idea, just go for it. Because the more that you consider it, the more you're going to come up with reasons why you're not going to do it. And then you're not going to take action on it. And then you're not going to make any progress or see any results. Don't think, just act is the perfect way to put it. You know what I mean by that. That doesn't mean that you just fucking do anything. But like, you get the idea for something, right? For me, it's like make a YouTube video, work on my business, ask out the girl, go to the gym. A lot of the time you're thinking about it, thinking that's going to help you. Like, oh, you got to think about it. You got to overthink it for like 3 years. No, bro. Fuck that. Don't think, just act. As soon as you think about it, you start feeling like lazy. You start noticing that you're a little bit tired. You start doubting yourself and coming up with these things like, oh shit, there's that problem and that. But the guy who's like retard maxing, he just goes up to the fucking girl, asks her out, because he's acting. If he was thinking about it, he'd be like, oh, I'm scared, she's out of my league, and I feel all this fear inside, and then he doesn't do it. See, the problem is you think that you're going to overthink it and come up with the right answer. No, you're going to overthink it and just get stuck on this bullshit mindset of like, I came up with 20 problems with my goal. Congratulations. You took no action. You made no progress on it. And all you did was sit there and think about it. You probably think thinking about it is making progress on it. It's honestly not, though. When I heard this advice, I took action on it immediately. I put down my phone because I was fucking scrolling. Shouldn't have been. But I'm man enough to admit it. And I was just like, yeah, there's so many things I could be doing, but I get the idea for them and I go, And what happens is you just start listing off negative things. You just start naming everything wrong with the idea you had, and then you don't actually do the idea, and then you don't get the results you wanted that you probably could have gotten closer to if you had done that idea. Well, no, I gotta be an overthinker. It's like, fuck no. There's some guy that's way dumber than you, making progress way faster than you, because he's not in his mind like weighing all the possibilities. He's just taking action. You've probably heard this before, but like, don't think, just act. It's that simple. I mean, you got to be a fucking human being, right? You still got to follow the laws, right? You can't apply this to everything. You can't go just like rob a bank or something because you were just acting and not thinking. Like, but I'm talking about when you have a good idea. Let's start that business. Let's sell something online. Let's ask out that girl. That should be the only thought, is the idea, and then you just go to work. The more space you have between that idea and actually doing something on it, the more thoughts you have in between there, the more likely you're going to come up with all these problems and you're going to demotivate yourself. But the most motivating thing is when you first have the idea. As soon as you come up with what work you should be doing, if you can immediately do it, you're going to be like, hell yeah, you're going to ride this wave of excitement about it. But if you have this idea and then you're like, let me sit there and think about it, what you're doing is just coming up with excuses not to do it. You think you're like building out the plan and like figuring out what you need to do, but you don't need to do any of that. Just take the next step. If you were going to hike up a mountain and one guy starts walking up the mountain and you're there like calculating how many steps it's going to take and like if you brought enough water and like if the view at the top is going to be worth it, you're eventually going to just probably decide not to even hike up the mountain. And then the other guy is going to be fucking like halfway up. If you even decide to start, he's going to already be halfway up. You're going to be like, oh man, how did he get there? Because he wasn't fucking wasting his fucking brain energy trying to come up with a reason not to do it, calling that productive, overthinking the shit out of it. He just started climbing the mountain. Oh, but I don't know if it's the right action to take. Yeah, you're going to find out if you actually do it. If you start hiking up this mountain and you're like, you know what, I fucking hate hiking. Okay, lesson learned. You're still being productive even if you're doing the wrong action, because you're learning from that action for your next action. You think you're learning when you're sitting there going, do I do this? Do I do that? You don't know because you haven't taken action on it. So just take action on it without the overthinking. When you feel your thoughts arising of like, oh, well, I want to do this, but I'm thinking that I'm not motivated right now. Shut up. Turn that shit off in your brain and just go to work. I'm telling you, I've been like this for so long now, where you're just like, let me have 700 more thoughts about this before I take action. And then you have 700 more thoughts about the idea. And then by the end of it, you're not even motivated. You used all of your energy thinking about it when you could have used that same energy to just work on it, to just take action on it. And then by the end, you would actually learn and you'd actually find out you love this idea and it's going to work. You'd actually make progress on it. But you make zero progress sitting there overthinking it. You make zero progress trying to come up with all of the pros and cons. Bro, you don't know the pros and cons. You learn the pros and cons when you try a business model and you find out you don't like it, or you try a business model and you find out it was better than expected, or you try a business model and you make money from it, or you try a business model and you make no money from it. That's how you learn. Not sitting there with zero experience going, I think this will work. Bro, you don't know. I think this won't work. Bro, who cares? You don't know. Why are you thinking about it? Why are you thinking about hiking up the mountain? The other guy's halfway up the mountain. Your competition is halfway up the mountain going, bro, this is easy. He's not even competing. He's not even running in this race. He's sitting there at the start line thinking about it if he wants to run this race at all. Obviously, you do. You wouldn't be thinking about it. You wouldn't be having these ideas if you didn't want to reach the finish line. The reason you have these ideas is because you believe there's success and reward at the other side. But the only way to get it through to yourself that there is that reward and to actually start feeling motivated about it and to actually start doing it is just taking that first action. Like, I had no idea what it was like to record a YouTube video, talking to the camera, uploading it. But then I did, and I found out, oh, okay, I got to make a thumbnail. Oh, I got to write a description. Oh, okay, I got to do this and that to make money with it. And then I can actually start thinking about it because I've taken action on it. But if I was there, but for a while I was there just like at the start, no YouTube videos, no online course. I'm just thinking about it like, It's like, bro, what is that doing for you? You don't know anything yet. You learn through experience. You learn through action. And you're not taking action because you believe somewhere deep in your mind that if you think about it hard enough, that's making progress on it. If you think about it, then that'll get you to success. But it's the opposite. It's that thinking that's wasting your time because you don't actually know what works and what doesn't. You don't actually know which action is right or wrong. You think you do. You think you can sit there and figure out if it's right or wrong, but it's like picking restaurants you've never been to. Bro, just pick one. Go there. And if it's a bad dinner, now you've learned. You're so worried about picking a wrong restaurant and having a bad dinner. Bro, you've never been to the restaurant. This one or that one or that one. Go to one. Doesn't matter which. Go to the one you feel like going to, just based off of pure intuition. Just guess if you have to. Pick a business model. Try it out. Take action on it. Stop overthinking about it. And then you find out that, oh, I actually like this place. I like this business model. I like this restaurant. And if you don't feel bad. You learned. You gained experience. You took action, and now you know for next time. Now there's only 2 restaurants instead of 3. So then you go to another one. And maybe it's another bad restaurant that you don't like. Okay, lesson learned, more experience. That leaves you with 1 restaurant left. You go to that one, you're like, hey, this place is good. But you only got to that last restaurant that you finally like by trying 2 other restaurants that you didn't like. And you can't just sit there and think about it like, you can't just stand outside like looking at the fucking building saying like, do I want to go into that one or that one? Bro, you don't know. Is the menu going to be good on that one? Are the prices good on that one? Bro, you don't know. You learn through action and experience. You waste your time and demotivate yourself out of doing what you wanted to do when you sit there and think about it. Like, when you get an idea and it's like, you can feel it, you're motivated about it, but then you try to think about it like a week later and it doesn't feel the same. You've kind of thought about it a bunch. You're not really excited about it anymore. Which one is easier to take action on? When you first get the idea and you're like, oh shit. Or when you get the idea again for the 100th time a week later and you're like, yeah, whatever. Each time you think about it, you lose a little motivation. Each time you think about it, You have an opportunity to come up with some bullshit limiting belief that stops you from doing the idea that might just make you successful. I used to think about this YouTube channel. And then one day I was like, I don't know how it is. I'm never going to find out sitting there thinking about it. I'm just wasting my time thinking about it. I need to stop being a pussy and just make a YouTube video. And if I make a bunch of YouTube videos and I decide, you know what, this isn't the right business model for me, fine. But I had to actually learn that through action and experience, not overthinking and procrastination. That's what you're doing when you think about it. You think it's being productive. You think you're like coming up with the perfect way of looking at it for success, but you don't know the perfect way of looking at it because you need the experience for that. It's like when you were a kid, how did you find out what sport you liked? You just tried one and decided if you liked it or not. You didn't sit there and like have the idea to go play baseball and then go like, I don't know if the return on investment is going to be worth it for this. You just fucking tried baseball. And some kids loved it, some kids hated it and went and played basketball or some shit. I was one of those kids that liked basketball, but originally I hated basketball and I liked baseball and I didn't really like sports at all. And over time you're going to change and fall in love with different things, but you don't know until you're trying them and taking action on them. It's like you're not going to sit there and figure it out with no experience. You learn through experience and you're overthinking it, hoping that that's going to help you, that's going to motivate you, that's going to convince you. No, when you overthink it, you're just coming up with reasons not to do an idea. Like imagine you're about to ask out a girl. Would it be better to just go up to her and just trust that you're going to say the right thing, trust that you're going to be normal, or are you going to sit there for 5 minutes like, oh, you're just gonna psych yourself out at that point. You're just gonna get all fucking nervous overthinking it. You're just gonna tell yourself why you can't get the girl and then you don't even try. But it was a girl that you could have got if you had just walked up to her originally. This is why retard maxing it's a dumb name, but it's true. The guy who just turns off his brain and just does the thing he wants to do without all this overthinking bullshit, he makes progress way faster because your mind is not programmed for success. Your mind is programmed for survival. And so if you're trying to survive, yeah, you want to be very like, you want to avoid all the risks. You want to try and calculate things as much as possible. But in the real world, trying to get success, it's almost like the opposite. You want to just go out there and fail over and over again. You want to just try shit and find out you don't like it. You want to just build a business that fails. You want to just ask out girls and get rejected. And all of these things, your mind is going like, wait, no, we're supposed to avoid the risk. We're supposed to just survive here. We're supposed to just do what we know. But in a field like business or dating, you don't know as much as you think. If you knew everything about it, you would be successful with it. So why do you think you can sit there without the knowledge, without the experience, without taking the action and come up with the answer in your mind? That's not how it works. That's not how learning works. That's not how anything works. How do you know if you like a video game or another one? You just fucking play one and you're like, yeah, this one's fun. This one sucks. How do you know if you like a sport or not? You just try it and you're like, that was fun, or not for me. You don't sit there without doing anything going like, well, this one has this and this one has this, and I don't really know about this one, but bro, stop thinking. Turn your brain off. Not completely. Don't go do some crazy shit that gets you in jail because you just weren't thinking, and that's what Josh told you on his YouTube channel. I'm talking about trying to become successful in something that you don't know enough about. You have to learn from your failures. You have to learn from your experiences. You have to learn from the actions you take. That's how humans figured out how to survive. That's how humans discovered fire. Some dude was like, I don't fucking know what to do, but I'm going to rub these two sticks together, and then boom, fire. Some dude was like, I'm going to just like throw a rock at this animal and kill it, and then we're going to eat it. And that's how they discovered hunting. They weren't sitting there like, well, maybe if we do this, then this will work, but I don't know, but I'm just going to keep thinking about it. No, early humans were forced to take action for survival, and most of it was bullshit. That's why for thousands of years, people were like rain dancing and shit like that, because they didn't know what actually worked or didn't. They were just doing shit. That's the way it's always worked. You just do shit, and you learn that some stuff works, some stuff doesn't. Some stuff makes you better, some stuff makes you worse. And you're trying to like avoid all that and not play the game and just sit there like calculating risks that you don't understand. You have this belief that if you think about everything you know about it, then you'll figure it out. Well, what if you don't know enough? What if the only way you find out the essential things you need to know is by trying it out and maybe failing? You can't be scared of failure because it's just learning. You can't be scared of asking out the girl and her rejecting you because that's the only way you get a chance with her. You can't be scared of starting the business and it failing because that's the only way you get a chance with business to work. But you think you're better than everyone and you can just avoid all the risks and avoid all the trial and error and just overthink your way to it. But that's never been the case. It's always been people throughout history just doing something, and if it works, they keep doing it. If it doesn't work, they try something else. Thinking was never meant to replace action. You're not as smart as you think. If you were, you could actually just like think about it and come up with the right answer. But you think about it forever and ever because you don't actually know, because you haven't taken the action to actually learn. I mean, thinking is super important, but you got to use it the right way. You got to use it to focus on your goals, and then after that, it's action that gets you there. I could record a video, or I could sit there thinking about recording a video. Which one's going to get me closer to success? Actually recording the video. So stop overthinking, take action, and understand that you're not going to calculate something you don't know. You're going to have to work on it and get there by trial and error. I'm building a community for guys like us where we can learn and talk to each other about becoming successful and self-improvement and figuring things out in life. And right now it's free, so if you're interested in that, go check it out. First link in the description. Subscribe to be a part of this movement. I really want to help as many young men as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all next time.